Good morning, everyone, and welcome to yet another Let's Try. And today on the docket, we're heading to one of the cheapest, most low quality options out there, and one that unfortunately I return to time and again. BK, have it your way. You rule! Yep, we are trying the BK foam cotton candy drink. I don't know what this is. I think it's a slushy, but it looks very strange. It's got. It may actually just be a soda that's been. A cotton candy flavored soda that's been. And I know you guys don't like to drink stuff, but this, it's kind of solid. Oh. Very sweet. Very cotton candy. Cotton candy may be one of my favorite, like, candy flavor. Like one of my favorite, like, sucker, uh, sucker slash jelly bean slash taffy flavors. Here, let's try to get into the foam. Yep, it's a slushy. Topped with whipped cream for whatever baffling reason. So I believe this is a take on the icy. Icy, like the Slurpee from 7-Eleven, is a carbonated drink that's been turned into a slushy. Icy, I think you'll all know from the polar bear. Fun fact, at one of my old hotel jobs, the guy who serviced our juice machine actually worked for the Icy company. So, even your apple juice and orange juice weren't safe from corporate marketing concerns or what. I don't know where I was going with that. Weren't safe from a sweet. This is the problem with slushies and ices and Slurpees. The syrup part sinks to the bottom, and so if you drink it with a straw, you're just left with icy mush on top. Ooh, although there's a very pleasant, like mixing the cream in, you have this like very good mix of like fizz and whip. Kind of reminds me of the Pilk. Um, y'all remember the Pilk, right? Roll clip, roll clip. I'm being told that we do not have an editor for these videos. How sad. This is a very strange concoction, because, like, it's ostensibly just a cotton candy icy, or a cotton candy Slurpee. But they put whipped cream on top of it. I guess to kind of sell the idea that it's a foam. Like, calling it a foam doesn't make it any less of a ice treat. Any less like sugar, syrup, and ice. Oh, I'm sorry. Sugar, syrup, and carbonated water. A very important distinction. It actually is. I love ices. Can't stand icy slash Slurpees, I should say. I don't live near a 7-Eleven, so I can't really get an icy all that much. Or a Slurpee all that much. I mean, I can get ices most of the time. They're usually in Walmart's in the food court area with the Subway. or in Target. Although I don't like setting foot in the Target food court ever since the incident. One place I should try sometime is Godfather's. Maybe when I'm a little more fluid. Oh, I mean liquid, sorry. Ugh. This is awful. I mean, it's not awful, it's weird. It's weird, and it's cold, and it gives me brain freeze. You gotta wonder about this stuff, too. Like, who was the first person to think, like, what if I partially froze soda so that it was both ice and liquid? That's actually happened to me too, I'll eat, because, like, for work, I usually leave my 2 liters in the trunk. And during wintertime, they can freeze. On nights where it's cold enough to cause freezing, but not cold enough to just freeze it outright, I have had my sodas remain normal until I opened them, and then suddenly they turned to slush. It was weird. Also, ices are kind of infamous in my family because my little sister, when she was a kid, loved cold food. Loved, like, ices and slushies and ice cream and shakes. But she had a sensitive stomach, a temperature-sensitive stomach. And for some reason, anytime she ate ice cream or a slushie or an icy, she threw up. And I think it was just like her stomach interacting weird with that sudden change in temperature. You know, all kinds of weird stuff can happen with your body. Like, my mom walked around a lot during her road trip a couple weeks ago. Ended up with swollen calves because water, well, like liquid, I guess, filled up her like legs, and it caused her skin to crack and stuff. And it's like, how does that happen? And mind you, she's a healthy woman now. She's lost a ton of weight, which is kind of bad, kind of like a little bad for her because people already thought that she was my grandma's sister because my grandma had her so young. But now that my mom's got like a little sag to her face because of the weight loss, people are like, "Oh, you two are sisters," and she's like, "God damn it!" That poor woman puts up with so much. Excuse me. My mom was a teenage pregnancy, so she didn't have her kids till she was almost 30. That's the kind of family I was raised in. Age gaps are so weird to think about. Like, when you're a kid, you're like, oh, all these people are old. But then you realize just how different they are. Like, my grandma was born in 47. My great aunt on my grandpa's side was born in like 1902, I think. She celebrated her 100th birthday. That woman saw so much. Like the Titanic, 2 World Wars, Vietnam, the Cold War, 9/11. Like, she lived through some of the biggest, like, shaping. She, the Kennedy assassination. She lived through, like, the biggest parts of the 20th century and probably the biggest event of the 21st century. Knock on wood. Like, imagine if something happened that made 9/11 look like a footnote. Ugh. Sorry, I shouldn't be talking about this. I should be talking about this because, like, now we're down to the brass tacks of it all. You know, the ice chunks and leftover cream. It is good, actually. But mostly because I'm just drinking fizzy whipped cream at the moment. If my mom were here, she'd slap me for slurping so much. Or, what do you call it when you, like, do the where you're sucking up the dregs? My mom always thought that was very rude because I don't know. I guess it was like a way of signifying to the waiter that you wanted a refill without being like, "Hey, mate, please have a refill." Um, which of course comes from having to work in Grandma's bar when she was a teenager. Yeah, my mom was my grandparents' designated driver because she was 16 and they were running a nightclub. Pretty successful one too, the kind that served pate to the wage slaves that came in around 5. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today. Y'all have a good one. This is Royce. I'm out.